In the main, I discussed the state of the healthcare system, industrial disputes uh, with Mr. President. As you well know, the resident doctors are still on strike. Their strike has now entered the 33rd day uh, today. Meanwhile, government is doing everything possible to make sure they get back to work. Out of their 12-point issues raised in their demands, we have done all. We have come to agreements on all, including those that even affect the Medical and Dental Consultant Association of Nigeria and the medical doctors who are in academics and teaching in universities. So we have handled all. The only point of disagreement now is that they said that in the agreements, in the memorandum of action, government should insert, include that Section 43 of the Trade Dispute Act will not apply to them. That section says that when a worker withdraws his services from his employer, the employer is at liberty to withhold payment of emolument to him. And the ILO principles at work and at strike said you can use that money to pay other people you have engaged in those particular period of strike. So you have a right to strike, but your employer has also the right to withhold your emolument. Much more importantly, in other climes, unions, before they go on strike, by that principle, they discuss with their workers and bring out what they call strike fund. And it's from that strike fund that the union will use to pay the workers that have gone on strike. And they will also even agree on the number of days the strike will last. That's why overseas and in other climes, you don't see strike getting more than 3 days or 4 days or 5 days highest. And much more importantly again, people on essential services, medical services in particular, where you can lose life, they don't go on strike anyhow. They only do picketing and things like that because people's lives are involved. So this is where we are with them, and we are saying that even if anybody cares to put it in any agreement, that clause will be void ab initio because it's against the law of the land. And we will not, as a government, succumb to undo arm twisting and then go and sign that. Other workers have lost their pay during strike. The Joint Health Systems Union, JOHESU, they lost their pay in 2018 when they went on a 4-month strike. They lost about 2 or 3 months of the pay when the no work, no pay was invoked. Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, no work, no pay applied to them. They didn't pay, nobody paid them anything for 6 months. For 6 months, and it was during COVID. So we can handle things administratively, but nobody should twist. So that's where we are. But I briefed Mr. President, and we have agreed that they should come back to work. And if they come back to work, we can take other things from there. We will withdraw the case in court, and then they will come back and get things done. This morning, the Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, in conjunction with the Office of the Health Service, and we had a meeting, and they are jointly going to do a circular that will be issued from Salaries, Incomes and Wages, restoring, not restoring actually, to reiterate that the house officers and the youth corps doctors are still on commerce scale 1 and 2 respectively. So I think in the main we are doing the implementation. We have also, from the monitoring meeting we did this morning, Ministry of Health has gotten the list of doctors who are supposedly to benefit from the medical residency training fund. Total submission of about 8,000 names were gotten, and the Ministry of Health is scrutinizing them. They have done their first round of scrutinization, and they will now compare what they have with the Postgraduate Medical College and the chief medical directors who submitted the names. The ARD that's Association of Resident Doctors in each of the tertiary centers worked with the CMDs to produce those names. But now that the names are being verified, they discovered that about 2,000 names shouldn't be there because they don't have what is called postgraduate reference numbers of National Postgraduate Medical College and or that of West African College, Postgraduate Medical College. So this is it, and that is the only thing holding back the residency fund payment. The residency fund is there already. i.e. for it, authority to incur expenditure have been done by the finance minister and it's in the accountant general's office. So once they verify the authenticity of those that are submitting, accountant general will pay. We are doing that verification because we don't know what happened last time in 2020 to reoccur. In 2020, they submitted names. It didn't come through the appropriate source, which is the Postgraduate Medical College. And payment was affected, and it was discovered that about 588 persons who are not resident doctors benefited from such money. And they are now finding it difficult to make the full refund because they have to refund that money. Some are refunding, but there is no full reconciliation of the account. So that account has to be reconciled to enable the accountants pay the next round of fund for 2021. So, that's what I briefed Mr. President on. And